Get ready for your daily dose of marketing strategies and tactics from entrepreneurs with the guile and experience to help you find success in any marketing capacity. You're listening to Marketing School with your instructors, Neil Patel and Eric Su.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm your host, Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 ways to make existing content better. So I want to preface this by saying Digital Marketer actually at their Traffic and Conversion Conference in 2016, they actually did a really good job of explaining what's going on there in terms of how they go about upgrading the content that they have. So it could literally be a piece that they have from a year or a couple years old, and they're just going back in time and they're upgrading it. And they gave a really good analogy of Wikipedia, where Abraham Lincoln, when Wikipedia first started, his post was maybe 1,500 to 2,500 words. And then over time, maybe a couple years later, it became, 10,000 words. And then nowadays, it's around 15 to 20,000 words, and it just kept getting updated. And what they're doing there is, at Digital Marketers, they're continuing to update their posts, and they're just starting to, Google sees it as a refresh and it's getting pushed higher. And we started doing that recently too, and it has had a good effect on kind of the stuff that we're doing. So oftentimes, you have so much content out there, you don't just need to focus on keep churning out new stuff. You can just upgrade the old stuff, just layer on other stuff to make it a better piece of content. So I guess that actually does, that is a good number 1 to start with. So I guess, Neil, you can kick it into number 2.
Number 2, try to segment your content. Not every single reader is looking for the same exact thing. A quick way to segment is you can add headings so people can skim your content and figure out what's relevant for them. But a better way to segment is ask your readers a few questions before they start reading your blog post. So for example, if you just wrote a blog post on dog food and what's the best type of dog food for your animal or canine, you would ask them, how old is your dog? What's the weight? What kind of mixture or mutt or like pedigree it is? I don't know what they're called. I don't have an animal. And by doing that, you can then end up showing them the content within the post that's most relevant towards them. Because, for example, if they have a really small dog that's young and it's a puppy, why would you tell them information that's only relevant for older dogs that are big and heavy and that are aging, right? And that are overweight. So by doing this, people will start reading your content and they'll be like, wow, this is so amazing. Everything that I'm reading is really relevant to me. This is the best piece of content that I've read out there on the web.
Number 3 is to use a trick that we talked about a while back, but basically you're going to go into Google Search Console, and the idea is you're looking for underperforming posts out there, and you're looking to increase the click-through rate. So that applies for kind of you doing an audit of your site, but and this is looking at your existing content, but you're really looking for the posts that have they're getting a good amount of impressions. Let's say a post is getting, 10, 20, 30,000 impressions, but isn't generating any clicks. So to give you an example, we had a post on enterprise SEO that was getting about 14,000 impressions a month, and we only got 3 clicks from it. So that just tells us that we need to go back to the drawing board, figure out how we can go about improving the headline, because Google is trying to give us credit for it. It's giving us the impressions, but we're just not, we're not making the headline sexy enough to get people to click on it. Same thing with the meta description too. These are easy changes. You just have to add it into your process to figure out how you can go about, doing or making the time to make these simple changes.
The next tactic is a quick competitor analysis. So what I like doing is taking my headline or the keywords or what my topic is about, and I either type them into BuzzSumo or search.twitter.com. I look for all the other articles that got a ton of social shares that are very similar, and I look to see what is a competition blogging about in that article that I missed in mine. Now, what most people do is they just say, oh, they covered X, Y, and Z. I didn't. Let me just add that to my article. You don't want to do that because X, Y, and Z may not be relevant to your article and people may not care for it. Ideally, it should be relevant because by doing this, you're only searching for relevant terms, but still, people may not like it. The one thing I do look for, though, is within that competitive article, I go to the comments and I see what people are talking about. If they're mentioning a few points within the article, not really asking questions, but mentioning a few points on how that point is amazing or that's something new that they learned, I then go and take that point in the article and I add that in my article, but of course, I improve upon it, make it my own, and make it way better than what they have in theirs.
So number 5 is if you Google bucket brigades, this is another thing done by our friend Backlinko. He wrote a post on how you can make your post more scannable, more readable. And in the last episode, we actually talked about, Neil talked about how to make things more readable. So what bucket brigades are is basically you're separating, instead of having huge walls of text for each paragraph, basically Brian Dean takes it as far as doing one sentence, right? One sentence is each paragraph. He's doing like one sentence. I like to do, perhaps 2 to 3 sentences. But when you do something like that, it just makes it easy to jump from point to point, and it helps, it just makes people feel better, right? And we did that for the gun blog that I have. And that made a world of difference. People are staying longer on the site, and they're getting a better experience in general. Just think about that, right? Whatever you can do to make the user experience better, go out there and do it.
There's an app out there called Hemingway that you have to use. Write your article within there, and it'll actually teach you how to write better. You don't need a college degree. You don't need to be a journalist. It's simple. Just copy and paste your article into there before you publish it, or you can do what I do and I just write within there. And it'll show you and help you write way better blog content that people want to read.
Number 7 is a tool that I've talked about a couple times already, and Neil talked about having a custom image. How I like to do custom images is using a tool called Design a Pickle, and you pay $370 a month and you get unlimited images to make. And sometimes we just abuse the crap out of it for, because we have a lot of different projects going on, and the images look really, really good. I will say, I used to pay anywhere from $75 to $100 for each custom image, and some designers will charge more, but sometimes that's what it takes to get something that gets people engaged, right? Because you're using that image also to share in social media, and also when you're doing paid advertising, that becomes a lot more important because a good image is going to get you lower cost per click, higher click-through rates and things like that. So that's it for the 7 ways to make existing content better. If you guys have other ideas for us, please let us know. And we'll see you in tomorrow's episode of Marketing School.
This session of Marketing School has come to a close. Be sure to subscribe for more daily marketing strategies and tactics to help you find the success you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best daily content possible. We'll see you in class tomorrow, right here on Marketing School.